Good evening, everyone. We are. Oh, do you know what? I was rushing around thinking, have I got everything set in this room? And I've forgotten to switch the light on. Just a second. Where's the lug? 1 second, everybody. You know what? This is the first time I've done a live stream at the time, and there's actually light outside still. But here's the plug. And USB stick. Sorry. Okay, and there's a light. Boom! Okay, that's a bit much. Hello, everyone. Okay, I can see there's some people in the chat. So I'm just going to have a very quick catch up. Right, we've got people from the UK in the house. We've got Germany in the house. Butterfingers asked, was he the Black Pampers act at Speaker's Corners? Me? I guess that's a whole other story. Who else is here tonight? We've got Scotland in the house. And Brighton. Hello, Brighton. Good luck in Brighton. Oh, thanks for the... You know what? Because this is about Kellie-Jay, I just wanted to do a chat about Kellie-Jay and how I think she's an inspiration. So I thought I shall dress up for this one. Hola, MrMenno. Hola, Peach. Hello Portland. The United Terves of Maine, Rome in the house. Okay. And the Pennines, Sweden. It's a nice, and Wales. It's a nice international bunch here this evening. Not dressed as Jelly K. Ooh, how would I do that? I'd be doing woman face, wouldn't I? That would feel really very wrong. Although I did dye my hair platinum blonde once, and that certainly brought all the boys to the yard. Anyways, and we have Becky Smith. Hello, a new follower. Love your songs and speeches at Reformers Tree. Hope to meet you all there one day. Yes, we hope to see you there too. And Trinidad in the house. Hello. Okay, and Isla Mac. Hi, Isla. How are you doing? Congrats on launching your YouTube channel. And right, Kellie-Jay Keen. That's what it's all about this evening. By the way, let me know if you can hear me okay, because on one of the last live streams I had some audio issues. So if that's all good this time, just let me know. Right, okay. So on Sunday, last Sunday in London, Kellie-Jay did her usual thing at Speaker's Corner with her Standing for Women event, Let a Woman Speak, where God, I don't know how many women spoke, and a couple of blokes, one or two. I baked some Dutch stuff. It's called butter cake. We call it butter cake, and I handed it out, and somebody in the chat just said that they loved it. It's almost like a combination between shortbread and fudge. It's like softish shortbread, very buttery. It's just all butter and all butter and sugar and a bit of flour. Somebody said you weren't there last Sunday. Oh, I was there. I was there in an outfit that parodied or mocked what the TRAs in Manchester wore, and that's one of the things that led me to do this live stream this evening. Hi, Angela. So I did a little skit there. I'm not going to go into that too much in this live stream because I want it to be about Kellie-Jay. But I did a little skit there, which was a piss take on the TRAs in Manchester. And some people interpreted that, nobody there, by the way, but somebody interpreted that as blackface. And blackface is when someone who isn't black performs a caricature of a black person or does an impersonation of a black person. I was parodying, I'm a white man, ta-da. Uh, I parodied white people dressing up in black bloc. So by definition, that is not blackface. Saying that's blackface makes as much sense as saying that lesbians have penises or gay men vaginas or that men can be women. Duh. Anyways, I don't want to focus on that too much, but one thing that happened is, and the outfit could have been better. Okay. I could have had a better wig, I guess. But I think people were just clutching at straws, trying to look for something that they could use against Kellie-Jay. And that's why I thought I'd do this live stream this evening. For people on, the gender woo-woo side, to make a meal out of it is kind of expected because they twist these things, as per usual, into something completely so far removed from the actual thing that is unrecognizable, and they just use that against you. They do that because they don't have anything else, right? They don't have actual arguments. I didn't think that's what somebody would read into it at all. Which, some people may say, "Oh, well, then you're not very critical, or you're not very aware, or whatever." To me, it shows that it was so far from my mind, or actually, it wasn't anywhere in my mind that anyone could interpret it that way. That's why it didn't occur to me that somebody would. Anyways, as I said, I don't want to focus on that too much now. What really saddens me is to see how people on our side of things took that and ran with it. Not to have a go at me, but to have a go at Kellie-Jay. Oh, sorry, cup of tea. Christmas mug for all seasons. Hello, Terry in the chat, and hello, Seattle. Okay, so it also became clear to me, something that I wasn't aware of, that this is not the first time that certain people have come for Kellie-Jay to try to paint her as a racist. And I just think it's so wrong to do that. And as I said, I don't see the point. So what I wanted to do was to focus on what Kellie-Jay does. And how incredible I think she is. And how I sort of became aware of her first. And because for me, she's one of the key people that helped me see what's going on and to help cut through the woo-woo, if you like. So again, I won't go through all my whole peaking experience, if you like, in this particular live stream, but it was Pride, London Pride in June 2019, where I first saw the slogan "Trans women are women," and I thought, sorry, Leslie Farrington is asking, did Belle Steffi join in? I am shocked if she did. Belle Steffi didn't. No, she did make a comment where she said, "This is Menno's mess, and he needs to be responsible for it, or take responsibility for it." So, sorry. Okay, so Pride 2019 in London. That's when I first came across the slogan "Trans women are women." I had never seen that before, and it didn't make sense to me. So I started looking into it. And then I found Magdalene Burns. And it was so refreshing to see her videos and to hear her speak in the way that she spoke. And then I came across the clip where I think it was Sky TV. It was Kellie-Jay versus Dr. Adrian Harrop. And I watched that clip with my eyes and mouth open wide, and I couldn't believe that here you had this idiotic gay man spouting all this bullshit, and having a woman here talking complete sense. And I just thought, what? Like, I can't have a gay man like me, like speak for me, if you like. And I thought, what this woman here is saying is just makes perfect sense. Like, what's he on about, and why is he so angry? And it was like he was spitting hatred as he was talking. It was ridiculous. And I really liked the way that Kellie-Jay was so forthright. She wasn't having any of it. Let me just close the window. So you don't hear all the sirens. And yes, Adrian Harrop now, of course, suspended. His suspension was only supposed to last for a few months, but he would have had to re-register, which takes a lot of time apparently. So I'm not sure if he's back in business, but that thing is on his record now and will be there forever. So that caught up with him, I guess. My first impression of Kellie-Jay at the time was I was a bit intimidated by her. So I don't really know why, to be honest. I think before that interview, she struck me as a bit pent up. But I guess you would be when there's so much to fight for, especially from a woman's point of view. And I don't know. She's a strong woman, and it comes across. And I think to some people that's intimidating. I was a bit, oh, you don't mess with her. So that's when I first started to take note of her. And then I saw the interview, when she was on British morning television with Willoughby. And I always think it's just so bizarre that you can have a man sitting next to a woman claiming to be as much of a woman as the woman right next to you. It's just insane. And again, she stood her ground. And both presenters, there was a male and a female presenter, weren't, were kind of against Kellie-Jay. Especially the woman presenter. They're all going on about, oh, be kind and be kind. And not, it's like they were siding with Willoughby. But again, she stood her ground. She stuck to her guns. And then there was the trigonometry interview, which has now been viewed over 1 million times. That's like an hour long. And I remember sitting down for that and really sitting down for it. And, I even had I opened my laptop, I got a Word document up, and I started typing notes as she was talking, because I really wanted to learn from what she was saying. But even then I was thinking, oh, this is that dangerous woman, or whatever perception I had at the time. And again, she was just talking perfect sense. And it was so refreshing just as with Magdalene Burns, to hear someone talk in such plain language. So I guess I became a fan, if you like. And then, hello, Lynn Shark 37. Then she started organizing. Somebody said the presenters on that morning television show are Eamon Holmes and Ruth Langford. Yes, indeed. So Um, and somebody else said, I found Kellie-Jay a bit harsh to start with, and her posture a bit mean. Um, maybe I think I felt something similar at the time, but it's just I'm one of these, oh, be nice, be friendly kind of people. And sometimes I wish I was a lot more direct and forthright. And I think that's one of the reason why I think Kelly is an inspiration, because she's not like that. So then she organized the first Speakers Corner event in London, for with Standing for Women, and I thought, well, let's go along. Let's just have a look and see what she says and what the other women are saying. And I remember leaving that morning and being nervous. Like, I thought, I'm a grown man in my 40s and I'm nervous leaving my house to hear women speak in the park about being a woman. Uh, but I was nervous. So I went along and she was there. And as other women were talking, she sort of went through the crowd and handed out some stickers. Hey, Stella, nice to see you. I'm going to email you after this live chat. Okay, I hadn't forgotten. I told myself I'm going to see you in the chat and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to email you, but I'll see you in Bristol anyway. So went along. I was there, and as I said, as other women were talking, she went through the crowd handing out stickers and things, and um, we had a little chat, and she seemed so approachable. And one of the things that kind of struck me was her eyes. She has the most beautiful eyes, and she is. It's hard to put into words. I just think she's amazing, and she was so friendly and interested. And I didn't know whether this was going to be like a one-off event, but I'm really glad I went. There's things that I heard women speak about that I knew nothing about, so I think especially for men, it's a good thing to go along to learn from about what's going on from a woman's perspective. Obviously, I'm coming from a gay man's perspective. Um, and we had a chat, and I showed her some stuff that I'd worked on, and she seemed to like it. And then afterwards, we all went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and we're all just, there were loads of us just chatting around, having a drink, and I thought, oh, this is amazing. Like, when you're, I think when you start looking into this and you see all the craziness, and you think you're going mad because you're like, this can't possibly be true. Plus, to take a common sense, sensible position in this, you're branded a bigot and all of that. Um, it, it's a lot to process. So then, when you come to a place in real life where you can just mix with normal people, it's such a relief. It is such a relief, and it was Kellie-Jay's idea to, reclaim the public square and organize this and to create. Hey, Tish, how are you? Sorry, I got distracted. Tish, just want to say, I saw on your Twitter that you've just published some new stuff a couple of days ago, and I really want to check that out. So after this live stream, email to Stella, read Tish's latest stuff. Okay. Where was I? Right, and it's Kellie-Jay that again is created that space for us to come together and to meet in real life and to get that sense of relief, to make new friends, to not feel alone and like you're going crazy. And these events are such a tonic. I found they're so energizing. Now that first time, there was some kind of Black Lives Matter protest in the park, and they came to the spot at Speaker's Corner where Kellie-Jay was doing her thing. And some had signs about Black trans lives or whatever. And they took offense with Kellie-Jay. And Kellie-Jay, she had a banner at the time, a Standing for Women banner. And some of the Black Lives Matter posse, they took it and they ripped it up. And the crowd got really aggressive towards Kellie-Jay and the women there. And it's like the women got together, formed like a circle or like a barrier, and they stood their ground against this aggression, which was something else. And there was one young woman who came up to Kellie-Jay and said, "I'm non-binary." And Kellie-Jay just laughed. And I think in that situation, that was the best response, because there's no way. What else can you do? It's just so ridiculous. And she just laughed. Kellie-Jay doesn't seem to be fazed by anything, which I think she seems fearless, which is another reason why I love her and I love what she does. So afterwards in the pub, I chatted with her. She introduced me to, I think her kids were there. She is just so friendly. And I made a mistake that evening or that afternoon. I was there in that pub chatting away with lots of people, meeting lots of people. And I thought, oh, wow, this is it. I found my tribe. And that meant quite a lot to me at the time, because I'd been looking for one for a while. Because I've always felt kind of generally that I'm one of the odd one out and I don't fit in anywhere. But then it soon started to become clear that this isn't just one happy tribe, if you like. There are a few different factions among people who call themselves gender critical. Some people don't call themselves gender critical, they call themselves feminists, and they actually make a point of separating them, distancing self from those who call themselves gender critical. And I guess you're always going to get different factions in any sort of movement. It was a few weeks after that I had a chat with Kellie-Jay on the phone. And I'm surprised she even answered the phone because, she's got 4 kids and all that, and she's busy enough as it is. But I phoned her up and she answered, and she took the time to have a chat with me. And she did something where she said to me, "Look, I do my own thing. And where I want, I will collaborate with other people. But essentially, I do my own thing." And I thought, you must remember that, Menno, because you don't want to get bogged down in steering committees and this and that and big group and organizational blah, 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 corporate bollocks. I thought, remember that. So then I went to the second Speaker's Corner, which was in September 2000. Oh, God, I lose track of time. So would this have been 2020? Probably, I think September 2020, right? It was, well, the September before lockdown. Becca Firebird, thank you so much for your £5. Much appreciated. Thank you. So I went to the second one, and then I think the first time Kellie-Jay had mentioned something about speaking, so I prepared something to say. And I wasn't sure if she would let me speak because obviously it's a women's event. But she said when I went there that second time, I told her I'd prepared something, and so she said that I could talk. And talk. I did. I talked for 20 minutes, which it was the first time she had a man talk, and then blah. I was there for 20 minutes. So yeah, sorry about that. And some people say that's a typical men's thing to do. Anyways, that was a bit of a learning experience. I think I was just so fresh from peaking that when I got a chance to talk, I just went "Bah!" And let it all out. It's like I've said this before. It's like I felt like a water tank completely full up with water, and then they opened up a little tab, and it all just came out. So where was I? That was the second. Okay, now while I was speaking, there were two guys on the side giving me, some abusive, saying, making fun of my hair, making fun of my voice, making fun of the way that I moved, giving me some homophobic abuse. As soon as I finished talking, the first thing Kellie-Jay did was she went right up to them and she said something like, and that's the reason why young boys get insecure and think they need to transition. And she pointed that out straight away. So any of these accusations that are leveled against her, that she's this ist or that phobic, I've I think she has a really good heart, and that's what drives her. So there was also a piece that she wrote for Lesbian and Gay News. I think it was called "The Locker Room Has a Lot to Answer For." Mega Sausage Head, thank you so much for your 5 British pounds. Misty Cat says, Menno, why do you think people don't like Kellie-Jay? I mean, look, different people are drawn to different people. And one thing I really like, there's this, I once heard a saying and I thought, oh, that's really a really good one. If you want to attract people, you also have to be willing to repel people. You can't be all things to all people. So if you want to attract, you need to be able to repel. And that is about focus and not trying to please everyone. I come more from naturally, I'm more disposed to try and please everyone. I'm a bit of a pleaser and a doormat by nature, which is again why someone like Kellie-Jay initially intimidated me a bit, but now I see the strength, I see the force of nature that she is, and I know I can learn from that and take inspiration from that. So she wrote an article about the locker room has a lot to answer for, and that was about how in locker rooms, in changing rooms, in schools, high schools, I guess secondary schools, it's the talk. It's the kind of, it's how, if you like, toxic masculinity creeps in and is performed, and how that makes others who don't fit in like this, like when I was a teenager, feel like I don't belong here. This is not for me. I don't want to be like these guys. Maybe I am not a guy after all. It's a slippery slope, I think. And what that article really struck a chord with me. Josie Alvarez Graham, thank you so much for your 17.99. It's very generous. Thank you. Right, I'm going to get emotional now because, after all, I am one of these sensitive, emotional people. Okay, she was talking in the article more about teenagers and high school and secondary school, that sort of locker room scenario. For me, it was when I was from about 6 to the age of 10, where I got bullied a lot for being girly, not being a proper boy, whatever. And it was intense. And especially when you're that young, that sort of stuff makes a real impact. And when I was 9, I don't know what you call that in English or in American terms, but it was the third year of primary school. Hi, Joey. Good evening. Every now and then, instead of having normal physical education, we'd go to the local swimming pool, an indoor swimming pool for, more recreational swimming than a swimming lesson, if you like. And that's where the boys in my year would have a lot of fun trying to push my head down underwater and see how long they could keep me under, and that sort of stuff. And afterwards, in the changing room, they would wet their towels, and then they would use them. They would roll them around, and then use them as a whip, and come after me, beat me with them, and they would shout in Dutch, "Wij willen bloed zien, wij willen bloed zien," which means we want to see blood. We want to see blood. Um, so I was terrified, and what I started doing was, next time that we would go to the swimming pool, I would find myself, because it was a communal changing room, but they also had, in another area, the separate cubicles. Salinated, thank you so much for your New Zealand dollars, 8.99. I would sit in the little cubicle on my own and just wait for the swimming hour to be over and for everyone to get dressed and leave again, and then go home. So, and I'd forgotten all about this until the last time I was home for Christmas, which was obviously the Christmas before lockdown. And my mum and I were up in the attic, just sifting through some stuff. And we were just chatting away, and then suddenly she remembered. She said, "Do you remember? Do you remember that you used to come home with a dry towel?" And and I said, "What? What do you mean?" And she said, "You used to come home when you were in your third year of primary school, and you'd have the swimming lessons. You'd come home with a dry towel because you hadn't actually gone swimming." So then it came back: the shouting, the beating, and then at the time when I was 9, my mum, once I came home with the dry towel, and then she's like, "You didn't go swimming, did you?" And I was like, "No." And I thought, shit, being caught out. So the next time, again, I was hiding in the cubicle, and the teachers never did anything in those days. There was no anti-bullying stuff. Fionn, hi, nice to see you. You say you can relate. I'm thinking that's relating to what I'm saying now. So I haven't caught up with everything in the chat. Um, So we had no anti-bullying stuff. When it was raised by my parents, the teachers that said that I was asking for it. Um, we spoke to some of the parents of the kids who were sort of uh, the ringleaders of all that, and they told me it was my fault. I was asking for it. So that doesn't really help with your self-esteem either, because you think that you start. The lesson I took away from that was, I deserve this. Right? It's my fault that this is happening to me. It's in fact good that this is happening to me, because it's meant to be happening to me. Um, that's just how it is. Anyway, so then I started running my towel underneath the tab, in the changing room. So then, my mom would think, "Oh, his swimwear and his towel is wet. He did go swimming, yay!" But of course, it was completely soaked, so she could tell. Um, so when I read that article by Kellie-Jay in Lesbian and Gay News, that really hit home. And I'm so glad that she wrote that, and that she linked it, um, that she wrote it from that perspective. And I messaged her about it. And again, she was very supportive. So, I'm not going to say that we're best buddies and I know her through and through. I don't. It's not like that. But I can tell from the little that I know of her, and, the time the little time we have spent together at these events, also in Scotland, in Newport, the few moments that where we've sort of hung out, if you like. Um, she's a very warm person. She's lovely, and she's clever, and she really, how do I put it? I don't know. She just has this mother lioness instinct, I think, that really comes into to why she's doing what she's doing. Now, one time last year, when we were in Glasgow for a rally, she spoke in support of somebody there. I did too. Then afterwards, we went to a beer garden, and I was sat at a table outside. It was sunny. It was a gorgeous, beautiful day, and I'm sat at one of these wooden benches and tables, seats, with a group of people. And then I saw that she was sat next to um, Graham Linehan, and on the grass in a little red dress was Mr. Hayton. And I thought, okay, how's that going to work? And it didn't. And apparently, I didn't hear this, but Kellie-Jay just went to him, "What you doing? Why are you here?" Um, because she questioned, why did the Spectator send a man who says he's not a woman and yet uses the term trans woman? Why have they sent someone like that to write about a women's rights rally instead of a female journalist who could have written about it? Good point. So uh, then we went to another pub, and I shared a taxi with 4 or 5 women to this other pub, and they were all talking about, oh, she shouldn't have done that. Kellie-Jay shouldn't have done that. Why did she do that? And I was really surprised by that, because I'm like, wait a second, this whole rally is about supporting a woman who wants the freedom to say that a woman is an adult human female and that men can't be women. And now you're bitching about a woman who holds the line on what it means to be a woman consistently, and now you're taking issue with her, like saying that wasn't necessary. At the time, I just kept my mouth shut because I was a bit taken aback about it. I didn't know what to say about it. I thought it was bizarre. And then anyway, afterwards in the pub, I sat with Kellie-Jay for a while. We had a really nice chat. So that was another eye opener. Okay, it's this whole thing is such a journey. I'm sure you can all relate to that. So is there anything else, sorry, that I wanted to cover about that? Okay. Anyways, so I'm glad that she does stuff like that, and I'm glad that she's confrontational, because this is a big fight that we have on our hands, and we have to cut through the nonsense quickly, and she does that. And what better opportunity than to do it when these things are happening right there and then? Like, and again, that's, to me, that's being consistent, that's courage, that's bravery, because you do it when it is happening. Okay, not when you're back home and you talk about it, like I'm talking here now, just in my room on my own. No, she just does it there and then, and she's quick off the mark. She's very quick, and she's very sharp, and good for her. So then obviously we had lockdown and everything, but then when that started opening up, Kellie-Jay continued with Speaker's Corner in London, and the first one that she did, it was a really grey, rainy day, and her umbrella. When it really started raining, she was handing out her umbrellas, and suddenly, when everybody started opening their umbrellas, it was like a beautiful dome of adult human female opening up to protect everyone. And Kellie-Jay stood there and held an umbrella above the person that was speaking. I just thought it was such a beautiful symbol of women supporting one another. And she's doing this. She keeps going with these events. She keeps doing it every month. She, drags her little trolley around the place with her techie stuff, and she does it. She's boots on the ground, as well as everything else that she does. And I really admire that, because what she's doing here, she's building a movement. She's not just writing articles or writing a book, or she's actually out there on the ground. There are many women in this that are fighting this in different ways and from different angles. Some via tribunals, some in courtrooms, some via publications. Joe Bartosh just springs to mind, who's incredible. Obviously, Alison Bailey, Maya Forstetter, Joanna Cherry, and then, of course, we have J.K. Rowling. But still, and there are many more than I could mention. And I hope that in the various videos that I do, I pay tribute to many of these women that I find very inspirational. If we were to crown one as our Terven queen, for me, it's absolutely Kellie-Jay, because, as I said, she's done the campaign with the adult human female billboard. She does that with the t-shirt so that people can be the billboard. It's so simple, it's so black and white, and yet it's so creative, and it's so to the point. I'm totally with her when it comes to the use of language, that we don't use the language of the oppressor. I use the oppressor here to refer to anyone beating the woo-woo drum, and especially all those organizations that have been captured. No, we don't use those words, because then you're down that slippery slope. You don't compromise, and when it comes to this, you do not compromise. A woman is an adult human female. That's it. No exceptions. Similarly, a gay man is a male homosexual. That's it. Women cannot be gay men cannot be lesbians. We don't use any of the language that can feed the notion that there can be lesbians with penises or gay men with vaginas. And chat, thank you so much for your £10 and a flying blue pear, I think, a superhero pear. There is no compromise. It's simple. Humans, like any other mammals, are sexed male and female. The words for a male is boy or man, depending on their age, and for a female, girl or woman. That's it. It's that simple. Everything leads back to that. And she's anchored, and everything she does is centered on women, And what I like about her is that at her events, she does allow men to speak. Okay? We've now been giving a time limit, thanks to moi. And obviously, we wait to the very end. But she's happy for people, for the penis bearers to also get involved, as long as we stand with women and we stand behind them, rather than speak for them. So, and I applaud her for that as well. And she says that she doesn't identify, or she doesn't call herself a feminist. She's a woman standing for women's rights, all women. And I thought her response earlier this week to the antics of these so-called head girls was so classy. And I thought, can I love Kellie-Jay anymore? Then she did that. Yes, I can. And one thing that I dread to think is that, some people, if they think that little skit that I did on Sunday was a bit, I don't know, if it wasn't their thing, fair enough. I mean, not everyone's going to like it. What I'd hate to think is that because of the way it's been twisted, that it could have a negative effect on Kellie-Jay, because the attacks centered around this blackface stuff were attacks on Kellie-Jay. They weren't attacks on me. Butterfingers is asking, Menno, what would you say if somebody asked if you're transphobic? I'd say I'm trans fearless. I'm not scared of them, and I'm not scared of calling out the woo-woo. So, where was I? Sorry, I'm distracted by the chat. Kellie-Jay. All right, her response to that. Now, I don't want to go into too much about who said what. And one of the reasons that I'm not going to do that here is because that's a lesson I've learned from Kellie-Jay. Don't get distracted. Don't get lost into the bitching, or don't respond to the bitching with bitching. So, because I heard it, I've seen her do that before, where she's it's like, you know, that what's that quote by Michelle Obama? If they go low, we go high, and I think that's what Kellie-Jay did in her live stream. About that was only 12 minutes, and it's a good example. And again, that to me is why she is not just a player in this, she is a leader in this. She is a leader like, I don't think, like nobody else in this fight. Leslie Farrington, thank you so much for your £13. And you're saying, don't worry about the skits. They aren't worth the headspace. I'm not worried for me. I'm worried about how it might impact Kellie-Jay and her event, because anyone who's criticizing her and throwing these accusations of racism at her is also criticizing all the women that were there, who didn't see any blackface. And this is the thing about Kellie-Jay and her events, you know, and they keep growing, which is really good to see, because obviously she does them regularly in London. She's now done it in Nottingham, and when TRAs give her shit, she uses it. She's so quick off the mark, and she knows how to use it to show them up for being idiots. I love that about her. And the same in Manchester, and then she's like, let's take it to the White House, and she does it. This woman is a force of nature. She is strong. She is driven. She is focused. She's ambitious. She's creative. She's fun. And I would also say she's very caring. And she does it, right? She could very easily say, you know what, guys, it's been fun, but now, because no one is in this for fun. This is not fun. No one's in this because they're like, oh, I'm a bit bored. What could I do with my time? We're not in this because we enjoy it. We're in this because we see something horrendous happening and we want to stop it at all costs. That's why we're doing it, because it's necessary. And it's not an easy thing to do. You have to put up with a lot of shit. Some take it to heart more than others. Some need to take some time out and then come back. And she keeps going. And I don't think she lets it get to her at all. And I think that's, I applaud that. It's one of her many great qualities. And I look forward to seeing where she's going to take it next. Obviously, she was interviewed in the States by Tucker Carlson, and some people may say they have their reservations about him or their misgivings about him. But that interview was, I really enjoyed watching it. It was such a calm interview. And again, she spoke so clearly, so succinctly. There was humor in it. If you think of the amount of people that are exposed now to her, and the way that she's bringing all this stuff out, it, it's fantastic. The exposure that she gives this. So, and she's going back to Austin now to speak at an event. She's spoken at loads of events. Like sometimes I come across talks on YouTube from a few years ago, and then Kellie-Jay pops up, and I'm like, aha, she's been at this for about 6 years, I think, and others have been in it longer, but she's really making an impact here. And I really think that she deserves credit for that, even from the ones who maybe don't like her for whatever reason. And Juliet, #1 fan, thank you so much for your £10. Much appreciated. So that's the other thing about going to these events. You know, I go quite regularly, and I don't speak at all of them. But if I feel I have something to say, then I will. I'll wait till the very end. Um, Also, again, it's like when Jenny Swain was arrested for the stickering in Newport. Who went out and organized a support rally? Kellie-Jay, who goes up to the school and goes, "Yeah, you're not having those materials. You're not teaching that to my kids." Kellie-Jay, who is live streaming, what, 4 times a week, 5 times a week? Kellie-Jay, who's putting the merchandise out there so everyone can be the billboard and get the message out? Kellie-Jay. And some people, detractors, are like, oh, she's just a grifter, blah, blah, blah. It's like, again, this is not for the money. This is not like, I got told I was a grifter by someone, and um, people seem to think that I'm rolling around in money, which is bizarre. Um, because obviously we're all being funded by these far right extremist groups. When so many of the women I've met are more left leaning, if anything. Some are on the right, some are in the center. But this is the other thing about this movement that Kellie-Jay is building. It's such a diverse group of people, white, black, Asian, South Asian, men, women, gay, straight, bisexual, a variety of ages. It's always a very, very mixed, diverse crowd, it's quite something to have that ability to appeal to such a broad range of people, which is absolutely what we need in this fight. So Kellie-Jay is absolutely a what I want to say, a crown in our jewel. Maybe that's not the right expression, but you know what I mean, right? So that's why I wanted to do a live stream to just talk about that, what she's doing, the impact that she's having, and just how formidable she is. And I thought about what are the things that I've learned from Kellie-Jay. So just before I started live streaming, I wrote a few things down. Okay, so what are the things that I've learned? Three key things that I've learned from Kellie-Jay is keep focused and to the point. And she always does it. She's always consistent. Don't waste your time bitching about others. And there have been times where I thought, oh, I'll do a video about this person or that person. And actually, once I'd started making one, I worked on it for like 2 weeks. And then I thought, is this really worth it? I got really bored making that video. And then I thought, why don't you make a video about, are we transing the gay away? Or are they really slicing off the breasts of 12-year-olds? That's more important. So you've only got so many hours in the day. You've only got so much energy. Use it wisely. Stay focused. Focus on where you can make an impact. That's definitely, for me, something I take away from Kellie-Jay. The other was, have the courage of your convictions. Again, when she was interviewed by Piers Morgan and he just went, "Oh, you're transphobic," and she just went, "Yeah." It's so unexpected. I think that kind of then he focused on that too much, and he didn't understand what she was trying to say by saying, "Well, yeah, I am." She basically said, "I'm not faced by any of these accusations." But have the courage of your convictions. And That's why I'm drawn to her. She sticks to her guns and she doesn't compromise on that. And I would rather, it's not like it's a choice where you have to choose between do you support this person or that person, but that's the kind of person I support. Not someone who says they're in this to protect women and girls specifically while using woo-woo language to describe other people and ass licking AGPs in the process. No, no. So I think, well, that's nearly an hour. So let's wrap it up. I have no idea if Kellie-Jay watches my stuff. I think she's way too busy and she's interested in women's stuff. But if she happens to watch this or see this, I just want to say, Kellie-Jay, I take my hat off to you. Sorry, I don't have turf teenies here or a glass of wine or champagne because I don't do those. But here's to you. I think you're incredible. Keep doing what you're doing. You will anyway. I look forward to what you're going to do next. I look forward to your Speakers Corners events growing and growing and growing. I look forward to you hitting your 50K followers on YouTube and it going even further from there. I just think you're amazing, and thank you so much. Thank you, because you were a key figure for me peeking and seeing through all this crap. And what you do anchors me as a person and keeps me on track. So thank you. You're amazing. You're formidable. I've told you that to your face once, but I really think so. And again, Kellie-Jay may not be everybody's cup of tea, but she's definitely my Terven queen. And I know there's obviously plenty of people in the chat here who feel the same. So I want to wrap up by saying, oh, one other thing. Aja on Twitter, Aja the Empress, is someone who started going to Speaker's Corner in London and said something this week about how she used to, be sort of in a room. But then she came out and she watched Kellie-Jay, and that's what helped her find her voice. And how she is using that voice now. Again, she's doing her spoken word, which is amazing and clever and on point. And she's doing it at these different events in Manchester and London. So shout out to Arja as well, who I also think is a pretty amazing, cool person. And also DJ Lippy, who I've met through Speaker's Corner. It's such, these gatherings are so good. And I've met so many incredible people. DJ Lippy in particular, I really like her take on things and her analysis of situations. These are great. Now I want to name more women that I've met there that I think are amazing. But now because I'm thinking about it, I'm forgetting all the names. But you know what I mean. And again, it's Kellie-Jay that has brought us all together this way, or at least she's facilitated us coming together. And every one of us, we need to speak out as much as we can, where we can, because we all appeal to different people. We all have a different way of getting the message across. The more we all speak up, the more people we will reach. Chrissy T says, good morning. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock in the evening here. So you're somewhere on the other side of the world. But good morning to you. So let's all raise our voices as much as we can. And obviously, we have Kellie-Jay here to inspire and anchor us. And may we all learn from her what we can. And in years to come, when we look back on this, I think she'll stand out, as she does today already, as not just a key figure in this, but a leading figure, for sure. And I hope that she gets the recognition and the credit that she so richly deserves for how she's building this movement and how she's um, making an impact. So, on that note, let's wrap it up. So, new videos I'm working on the Y chromosome song. Okay, I've been trying to get some costumes together, so I need to start recording that song. That's one I'm really looking forward to doing, and I'll do a live stream to celebrate hitting 10,000 subscribers. Probably Sunday. I know I've been saying this for a while, but I get distracted and thrown off track very easily. But Sunday might be a good time to do that. So, everybody, have a nice evening. Have a nice day. If you're somewhere else in the world, have a good afternoon. And as I always say, no matter what they throw at us or what happens, keep it real and keep smiling. And cheers to Kellie-Jay Queen. For me, definitely my Terven Queen.